This was a picture of my condo landscaping in the listing before I purchased it. The previous owner had done this landscaping, and you may notice there are bricks stacked up around the vent of the hot water heater. Unrelated to the landscaping, there was green algae on the front steps I cleaned with bleach. I removed the bricks and painted the vents to match the siding and gutters. The previous owner used landscaping timbers that did not butt up together very well, and I always thought they were sort of odd angles. In this condo complex, it is up to the condo owner to install shrubbery of their liking, and I always thought I would like to redo it. I wasn't a fan of the evergreens that were in, and I knew this was going to be a major project if I tackled it myself, and very expensive if I hired someone to do this work. 2 years ago, I wound up with a new AC unit. The old one had to be replaced, and I put 4x6 landscaping timbers around it to protect it from the landscaping company when they weed whack, and put some landscaping stones to make it aesthetically pleasing. I liked it so much, I had plans of doing the same type of border in the front yard this spring of 2026. I used a chain connected to the trailer receiver in my F-150 truck and removed all of the old shrubs along with timbers and cleaned up the debris, and there were many roots to clear up as well. I purchased bags of pea gravel and 4x6 timbers and put them on my front porch. I then went out with a sticky note and a measuring tape and came up with an initial plan. I kind of like having a half octagon shape that would protrude up into my front yard. I then created a digital plan of sorts for this initial plan. I started with the angles alongside the sidewalk that would come off of the front porch, using multiple timbers and a square off of the right angle of the front of my condo. I made sure everything was nice and square. Now, digging a trench, putting the pea gravel down, and getting the angles all right was a bit tricky. I laid the timbers at right angles on top of the grass and then one across the two outer edges of the octagon to get the angles right. As I would cut each section, I would dig a trench and put some pea gravel under it so I would have a good foundation where they wouldn't shift around in time. I did get a pad to kneel on while I was digging all of these trenches and working down low, but this was definitely hard on the back, lifting the heavy timbers and moving them in and out of the trench, trying to get everything just right. I put a long timber from a right angle from the front of the condo to get that right angle, then onto the landscaping timber that's parallel with the front of my condo, along with the one that goes at a right angle that finishes it off. Almost done with this part. I did this over the course of 2 days. I was very happy with how this turned out. I will shorten up the gutters because they protrude out too far. Like I did around the AC unit, I wound up purchasing 12-inch spikes. I drilled pilot holes and I hammered them with a 5-pound sledgehammer. I don't think they are going anywhere now. I did screw in some deck screws around the angles on the sides, just to be certain that in time the seams of the timbers would stay together tightly. next was deciding what shrubs to get. I decided on 2 holly chubby hubbies that will frame out the window, 4 fire chief arborvitaes, 2 evenly spaced between the chubby hubby holly plants, and then 2 will be coming out towards the octagon shape. 9 Anna's Magic Ball arborvitaes that will be around the perimeter. I actually thought I got 11, but 2 of them were Golden Child arborvitaes, so I put those up at the leading edge of the octagon shape. They recommended that I keep them in the garage because of the close to freezing temperatures we had that were unseasonable. After the weather allowed, I started with the 2 holly chubby hubbies and the 4 fire chief arborvitaes. Then I put in 3 of the Anna's Magic Ball arborvitaes, staggering them between the holly and the fire chief arborvitaes. I was pleased with how things were starting to shape up and wound up planting the remainder the following day and was very pleased with how that looked as well. I asked for guidance on care when I purchased the arborvitaes and the holly. They recommended keeping the roots moist and that it takes 2 to 3 years for them to take root. So I did not want to mess that up. Now I went on to putting in the weed barrier stapled in place. That was an arduous task. Then I purchased 25 bags of landscaping stones. I was hoping that would be enough, but I wound up having to get 11 more bags. Before I put the stones down, they recommended not putting the landscaping stones directly under the plants, to put cedar chips, that the stones would emit heat in the summer, which you did not want directly under the shrubs. After all the cedar chips were in place, it was time for the 25 bags of landscaping stone. As I mentioned, I did have to get more landscaping stones, 2 different trips. After each trip, I thought I needed just 1 or 2 more bags, and it turned into 36 bags total, but I was very pleased with how it turned out. I like how the color of the landscaping stone was very similar to the brick on the condo, and I was very pleased with the spacing of all of the shrubs and the shrub selections that I had made. I think it's going to look nice. The chubby hubby holly shrubs get 3 to 4 feet wide, 5 to 7 foot tall. That will frame out the landscaping nicely and on either side of the window. The fire chief arborvitaes get 3 to 4 foot wide and 3 to 4 foot tall. The fire chief arborvitae foliage will have spring growth, emerging bright gold, transitions to an apricot orange in the summer, and deepens to a striking red-orange throughout winter. The Anna's Magic Ball arborvitaes, I wound up finding out after I purchased them that there was a misprint from the supplier, and actually at the nursery that I purchased them at, they were just following the initial misprint from their supplier. They were to be dwarf arborvitaes, 10 to 15 inches wide and tall, but in reality, they will become 2 to 3 foot tall and wide, which will not be a problem with the spacing I have. They will have foliage that is bright yellow to chartreuse year-round. The two golden child arborvitaes that are in the front and center will grow 2 to 3 foot wide and tall, with a foliage that will be yellow in the summer and a light bronze cast in the winter. All of the arborvitaes are slow growing. They will only grow approximately 1 inch per year. The only thing remaining was planting some grass seed where the previous landscaping protruded out and roping it off so it will survive the weekly landscaping company that comes through. I'm very proud of this landscaping project, and I'm quite frankly glad it's done. It was a lot of work.